Kaimere is a distant planet. It is defined by waves of life brought from Earth and set free to evolve independently in this new context. The indigenous life of the planet, swarms of microbes called magic by the people who live there, are what harvest Earth organisms and make copies on Kaimere. As the asteroid which concluded the Mesozoic never struck Kaimere, dinosaurs remain the dominant terrestrial megafauna. Ecosystems are often understood as a pyramid of trophic levels, with a foundation of usually photosynthetic producers like plankton and plants, and coming to a capstone in the form of an apex predator. Sometimes there is a single species of herbivore that the apex predator consumes, but other times there are many trophic levels, from shrew to snake to fox, before the apex predator becomes involved, but all roads lead to this top predator. On Earth, these predators include herons, orcas, eagles, and lions. Apex predators are often the animal in the ecosystem with the smallest population. Energy between trophic levels is often quite reduced, and the higher one goes, the more tenuous a trophic position. Apex predators are a reliable indication of an ecosystem's health, as there must be a robust foundation in order to have a healthy population below, and this makes them exceptionally vulnerable to extinction. They may have a reputation for ferocity and might, climbing to the top, but it must be said that this position is precarious. Trophic levels are often taught through a pyramid quite like this. At its base are the producers. In terrestrial ecosystems, these are usually plants, and while seagrass and kelp can be producers in marine ecosystems, producers are often microbial plants and other zooplankton. Producers get their energy, and by extension the energy supporting the entire system, through solar energy, recycled nutrients, or nutrients released from the ground. Next are the primary consumers, or herbivores. Above them are the secondary consumers, next the tertiary consumers, and finally the quaternary consumers, or apex predators. The reality is, unsurprisingly, more complex than this simple pyramid of energy transfer and consumption. An interconnected web often better represents the situation. Decomposers and scavengers process everything. Some habitats see apex predators mainly taking primary consumers rather than tertiary consumers against what a pyramid might imply. Higher trophic level doesn't necessarily mean higher position in a given relationship. A lion might be at a much lower trophic level than a jackal if the jackal eats a snake that ate a shrew that ate a cricket that ate grass, while a lion only ate a zebra that ate the same grass, but the lion would easily consume the jackal if the opportunity presents itself. The reality of this complexity is important to keep in mind. In modern times, apex predator, macropredator, and mesopredator are often used to describe predators of various trophic levels. In some cases, mesopredator is applied to predators that hunt prey their size or smaller, while macropredator is used for predators that specialize in game their size or larger, though macropredator can just mean a large predator, and mesopredator often just means a small predator or animals lower on the trophic pyramid, such as skunks and coyotes, that are themselves prey to wolves and cougars. Apex predator means an animal is without predators of its own. By some definitions, a leopard would be a macropredator but not an apex predator. Lions and hyenas prey on each other, though are still considered apex predators even though their rivalry excludes them under some strict definitions. This circles back to the challenges of trying to apply a regimented, diagnostic terminology to something as complex as nuanced as ecology. Trophic levels and terms like mesopredator are useful tools in understanding these systems, but it doesn't take much scrutiny to conclude that the rules we assign when describing nature are often more guidelines and conventions rather than laws by which the natural world abides. These conventions have long been noted by naturalists. It may come as a surprise to learn that some of these terms, like apex predator and primary consumer, are relatively recent, many within the past few decades. The concepts, however, have been recognized for much longer. Within the assembly, an analogy used early in the career of prominent naturalist André Durand laid out ecosystems like a feudal system, with crop, livestock, serfs, freemen, landowners and lords, vassals, and the monarchs. Like the strongest kingdoms could only exist through the production of land and peoples, a healthy ecosystem is the only means for the largest and mightiest apex predators. True, good rulers and top predators can be important to maintain the health of an ecosystem or kingdom, but their existence is predicated on the foundation of regional stability. In his eyes, a healthy kingdom makes a lasting king, not the other way around. Durand was quite explicit in the passage to clarify that this could be a helpful framework in ecosystem understanding, not that animals abided governance, or an advocacy for feudalism as natural. Later in life, he both privately and publicly dismissed the notion as childish oversimplification of ecosystems. Unfortunately for Durand, in the 1800s, the assembly was largely run by the upper classes and gentlemen scholars, so the terminology and concepts captured the mind and pride of the society and remains in common use today. The top predators of Kaimere in Durand's day were called the megalosaurs, today tentatively associated with megaraptorans of Earth's Cretaceous period. His classification of robust monarchs, what he called Platyodraconax megalosaurs, or the family Epeiravenaturidae as they are referred today, were central to this feudal system. The tremendous size of the kings in Kaimere's natural world were not a reflection of their own might, but of the might of their ecosystem. He theorized that the fossils of large dinosaurs in Earth's history proved our planet once had such a thriving ecology. Indeed, he posited that such was this natural state of the world, but that Earth's health was in gradual decline since the Mesozoic, and Kaimere reflected what a healthy ecosystem should look like. If megaraptorans were the monarchs, then there were many knights and noble species below them. In Durand's analogy, the animals we see as top-order carnivores like tigers and hyenas are within the lower ranks of the ecological nobility. These were the knights and lords without title. In a modern trophic ranking, these might be called mesopredators. This has been cited as part of why the assembly favored Durand's analogy. It affords nobility to a familiar apex predators of Earth, where in Kaimere they are several trophic levels below the rankings in our ecosystems. Lions are prey to terror birds, which are in turn prey to megaraptorans. They certainly are not the apex predators in Kaimere, but mesopredator doesn't really fit either. In an ecosystem which can support several trophic levels above our own, it could be argued that it's better to add titles than lump lions and badgers together in the same tier. As I've said many times now, these are not real ranks. Their definitions are arbitrary and really only useful in helping illustrate relationships in the natural world. Regardless, the rankings are widespread in assembly teaching today. It is not just that tigers are below the great theropod monarchs by a tier. As one might guess, a great deal separates a 500-pound cat and a 10-ton centaur. The trophic level between our apex predators and the great kings of Kaimere are the vassal predators. In European antiquity, vassals were those nobles in the king's realm who swore fealty in exchange for land and protection. It was this which caught Durand's attention, and a recognition of the terror birds and large cockatrices, often at the fringes of a megaraptoran's territory, that seems to have inspired the analogy to begin with. He actually referred to these predators more often as paladins, named for the 12 elite knights of Charlemagne's court, though the title of Vassal Predator is what has endured. Vassal predators are generally used as a term for the predators larger than the size class of our largest predators on Earth today, yet far below the giant megaraptorans. Generally between about 1,000 pounds and 2 tons. The ecosystem of Arvel's western monsoon forest is a clear example. The smaller cockatrices and canids occupy the same trophic level as modern apex predatory mammals of Earth, the knights and the lords. The hedgeback and silver cockatrice are the vassal predators. These paladins defer to the apex predator of these woods, the western megalosaur Styraconicus. It may not be of the robust monarch clade, but this megaraptoran still holds the title of king, weighing nearly 2 tons above the other predators in its realm, and having a further size advantage given their lightly built frame. Some ecosystems in Kaimere don't follow this system. While Zentaur have been seen in the southern steppes, generally the top predator in this region is the cave lion. These half-ton cats may lose kills to titan crows or packs of hyenas, but they don't have regular predators themselves, and are usually considered apex predators. Marine ecosystems throw this system for a loop. Indeed, even modern marine ecosystems might have a vassal predator in the form of great white and tiger sharks, which are very much larger than the terrestrial top predators, yet are themselves prey to orcas. In Kaimere, the top predators can get an order of magnitude heavier than the largest terrestrial megaraptorans. What part of this is that aquatic animals can simply get larger more easily than terrestrial animals, but it also reflects just how productive marine ecosystems can be. Such animals as orcas, the elasmosaur Xanatel, and raptorial sperm whale Sohiajun are generally considered vassal predators under the ruling mosasaurs and megalodon. Another factor at play in Kaimere's terrestrial ecosystems is that dinosaurs are our selection specialists, meaning they reproduce at a greater rate than many large animals do on Earth today. Many of them also age at a slower rate, so many trophic levels are occupied by the growth stages of the same species. Many robust monarchs, for example, start life hunting insects, lizards, and rodents, and spend their teen years as vassal predators before a final growth spurt that rockets them into adulthood. Theropods are lighter for their size, meaning they need less food to get to the same general dimensions. Vassal predators, knights, and monarchs are not strict definitions, but are terms favored by assembly naturalists to convey the many trophic levels found in Kaimere's terrestrial ecosystems, for which we do not have good analog in Earth today. The terms may not be real, but they do bring a sense of majesty and respect for the animals these naturalists study. In broad strokes, it does help to punctuate just how productive these ecosystems are. Few places on Earth today have healthy enough ecosystems to support even one large predator, much less several species, but this has not always been the norm. The extinction through which we are currently going is not a planet at its peak. Not long ago, many environments throughout our planet would be productive enough to have as diverse a cast of large predators. As keystone species, top predators do help maintain the health of their environment, but it is also important to remember that predators are also indicators of their ecosystem productivity. It's good to be the king, but it doesn't take much to topple the capstone of a pyramid, and the vassals can easily take their place. The robust monarchs were vassals before they were kings, and any number of current vassals seemed poised to take their place. Thank you so much for watching. This video was brought to you by my generous patrons over at Patreon. And now making enough over there that I can donate some extra time now and then to unsponsored topics. Vassal Predators is something I've mentioned many times over the years. I've now encountered it a few times in the wild by people not talking about Kaimere, which is super exciting, but since it's breached the proverbial containment, I figured a dedicated video was long overdue. If you'd like to have more episodes like this, please do support me over on Patreon if you aren't already. The more I make there, the more I can do to develop this project. I don't have any Patreon perks, as I would like to keep enjoyment of Kaimere without paywalls as much as possible, but it does go a long way in giving me a budget to further develop the project in ways like this. I deeply appreciate y'all's support over the years. I will see you all on Tuesday for my episode on the marine ecosystems of the Northern Hemisphere. Until that time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Cheers, folks!